I will call the meeting to order at 6:03. Present in our meeting is our village administrator, Kevin Seifert, police chief Holler, council members Ben Bear, Jeremy Whitaker, and chairperson Brenda Sweet. Okay, so you have in front of you the different information, so anybody wants to start with comments or suggestions? I think we're open for that.
On the police officer recommended salary range, the $42,000 annually equates to about $20.19 an hour, which would be within range of the current starting wage that was just passed by council, but the $48,000 falls short because that equates to like 23 and some change. So we would have to change that number just to because right now the current range is 20 to 25.
So the 2019 starting?
52,000.
52, yeah. So that would be, and that, yeah. So the
So you're saying 42 to 52 is
would reflect the hourly rate on the, yeah,
That we just approved?
that you just approved.
Okay.
And I will tell you that may have salvaged us a little bit on retention possibly. It gives me some wiggle room. There's other agencies currently hiring right now, and luckily we had that to work with. So I think I might be able to. I just got done talking with a few employees, and not all of them really want to leave here, but it's hard for them not to leave when that other type of money's thrown out. But in the same token, if we can make an effort and show interest, that they would be willing not to flight. So that's good, because we take a lot of time and stuff in them. So, all right.
Okay.
And then the part-time, we don't really have that. So we do have part-time, but now with that wage that you recently passed by council, that would just equate that also, because it's easier just to have the one range, I believe.
right.
So
That's what I was going to ask. We don't really have a differentiation anymore between full-time and part-time as far as
On
pay goes.
Correct, that's right. I mean, a part-time person, I can always pay at a lower pay if needed, but yeah, we don't have the difference now, so we could just scratch that out.
Okay. And just make it the same as for both,
Or that, yes.
correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you feel the range for sergeant needs to change?
No, I don't. Speaking from being a sergeant here, actually that's a lot favorable. That's way higher than I made as a sergeant. Actually, the bottom number's higher than I ever made as a sergeant. No, I think that's fair. Sergeant's more of a working officer, a working patrol, but yeah, they do have supervisory skills. But no, I think that's fair in the setting.
And do we have anyone that's, are you looking to make anyone a sergeant at this point in time?
No, our requirements of time in, we've got one that would need about one more year before they would be eligible. I fully intend to try to promote one of our current officers to a supervisor, but I want to follow the standards set in Pelican Clee to make sure we do the right.
Okay, so we got another year before we have to,
About one more year, yes, for
okay.
eligibility. And I would try not to hire from outside on something like that, just being deficient on officers, that, and I feel like we should promote from within as much best we can.
Okay.
I do put officers as officers in charge, which is nice. Kind of same thing.
Especially when you're at training or,
Yeah,
whatever.
but I mean, they're aware of it and it gives them a
Okay.
goal. So far, they're comfortable with it,
okay.
to my knowledge.
So that equates to about $23 an hour to $28 an hour.
I'll trust your math on that.
On the sergeant?
Which is our current, or the salaries we started with at the beginning of the year. It looks like it was 18 to 25, so raise the bottom of it $5 an hour and then the top $3 an hour.
Wish I could do math in my head like you guys.
I'm using my calculator.
Can you?
That's what I did. 2080, 2,080 hours in a
Yeah.
working hours in a year, and then just just times the or divide that by that 2080, and it'll give you a dollar amount.
Okay.
Now I know there's no lieutenant listed on there. I can tell you when I was maxed at a lieutenant was actually less than what an officer made. Well, no, it wasn't. I'm sorry. There at the end, it was only 51.2. So at some point we would have one, obviously after a sergeant, but I don't necessarily know it needs to be maybe something along the lines of 50 to 60. And I don't want to say making up numbers, but that would be 2884, so maybe 61, I don't know. Generally, if somebody here is going to be a lieutenant, they're moving in to be the chief, so.
I mean, do you think like $25 to $30 an hour would be?
Yeah, I always thought that. I mean, yeah, you're asking me. I
mean, theoretically, do you ever think we're ever going to get to the point where you're going to have a lieutenant and a sergeant?
No. Well, will we ever get to that point? I hope so, because I'm always trying to grow our agency. But no, I don't. And if we do, it will be only because we know or trust that the lieutenant is going to move into my position. So we just have that sergeant there because we promoted it early because needed to or something. But I don't see it. No, not to.
So would you ever promote the sergeant to lieutenant without having another sergeant?
Yes, we did that. We would do that. To be a chief here in Enon, it's required that you have to be a lieutenant for a minimum of, hold the rank of a lieutenant for at least 3 years. So if we have somebody that showed interest that wanted to be the chief, or we felt that maybe we wanted to move them into the chief spot, maybe they didn't think they wanted to be the chief, we could promote them to a lieutenant, see how they were for 3 years, and go from there. That's kind of what happened to me, I think.
So that's precedent set. Is it in writing anywhere?
The 3 years, it's the requirement for the chief's position.
Okay.
I think they
Good
said.
to
I think
know.
it said 2 years. I don't know. I just remember I couldn't be chief when I was a sergeant because I didn't meet the minimum requirements. So yes, it's in writing.
Okay, good. So we don't have to put it in writing because it's there already. Okay.
I think it covers our police department. Other than, well, again, I wouldn't be for a field training officer when they're training somebody. It'd be. I know we're just looking at salaries, but so I guess we'll discuss any type of stipend or whatever pay it is for when you're doing something like that down the road later, or a different meeting.
Is that the custom?
What's that? Well, I know they
To
were.
do it, well, I mean, we already discussed the fact that depending on the yearly evaluations as to whether someone gets a bonus of some sort
Yeah.
and or a raise.
It generally, when somebody is a field training officer, a lot of times they'll make an additional amount of money on the hour during that time at other agencies. And when I say like, for example, I'll use the sheriff's office as an example. Theirs is $1.50 additional on the hour, I believe, is what their advertisement said. But 50 cents to $1 extra on the hour to have to do that. It is very mentally taxing at times to do that. And it's a fairly decent responsibility, but we're also looked about giving some sort of percentage or stipend type deal for just being a qualified FTO. So maybe that takes care of it and we don't have to do the extra hour. I guess we could look at it like that, if that makes sense.
Okay,
Okay. So
makes sense. Okay, comparing the rest of, shall we start with, you want to keep on going up the list instead of,
Doesn't matter. Kevin, what do you think?
Um,
Anywhere you want to start?
yeah, might as well just keep just going right up, I guess.
Okay.
So,
Our fiscal officer is currently at.
Police chief's fair, I suppose. It's competitive for now.
okay, well, we just assumed you were going to say something if you didn't like it.
I just figured I'd say it since it wasn't brought up. I'll tell you I'm comfortable if that helps.
Okay,
I'm not certain what our fiscal officer makes currently, but this has 12 to 16,000, and over here is 18 to 23.
she makes 1553.59 per period. The little chart I have here, because that's Laura,
1553.59
her pay period.
times 26.
So it's,
That can't be right.
if I did the
But maybe that's
time
per
right,
month.
Oh, wait.
18,643.08.
1553.
If I multiply
has
by
to
the right
be-
number.
That has to be per month.
I think it is a month. Yeah, it's
So it's
yeah.
like
Which is per
18.5.
paper. She paid once a month like
18.6.
we are.
yeah.
Okay,
Well,
so
we're
that's
paid
per-
bi-weekly.
I think
Right.
she's paid once a month.
You're,
Yeah.
you're all.
She's probably
right,
paid like we are.
like we are once a month.
Once a month.
Yeah.
20,150
So that's
rather
probably why I
than
did
the
it for
43.
you.
I got
Well,
18,600 is what I came up with.
Say again?
Yeah,
total?
that would be half that.
18,600.
Yep, that's what I got too.
But
okay.
bi-weekly would be 40.
So
All right.
she's right. I mean, it's within the range. So 18 to 23, I'd say that's probably
So leave that one.
fair. Which we're gonna have to take this to council anyway.
I know,
This-
but
we're
I
just
mean, these
giving
are
out
our recommended.
recommendations. Yeah.
Right. Okay, general
The
laborers.
general laborers, I just bumped them up to their on the previous what they're paying on the range that they're at now. I just bumped them up to $15. So, and on this, it's
Which that is probably at the bottom of this.
yes, it's at the bottom because it figures out to $15 to $21 an hour for the general labor.
Yep.
What's our, what do I want, how do I want to say it? The one that's been on our, been employed by us the longest? So that they would have moved up. I mean, I keep seeing new faces, so,
Well, the part-time Dave Walters, but he's going to be leaving here
right.
for
you said
Kentucky.
that.
So
So,
Seth was with us the longest time, but he left and he never come back.
okay.
So-
So we really don't have a long liver, really, except for Doug.
No, I think that range is good myself.
Okay, so leave that. Because even if we hire to replace Dave Walters, they would start at the lower,
Mm-hmm.
$15 an hour.
unless they were like coming from
Unless-
somewhere who really knew what they were doing and didn't have to be trained at all.
Right. Yeah.
And that you would determine that, correct?
Correct.
That's your job? Okay.
So you don't have, so you have Dave Helton.
Dave Helton is the only one right now.
Okay.
Or Dave Walters is still here, but at first he was kind of, it was going to be the end of July. Now it's kind of August, but he doesn't know yet, so he's supposed to kind of give me some sort of idea. He said he would, and I've got a couple people that I've talked to one already that he is still interested.
So all you have is really you and Doug and Dave, and I guess
Jason and Wayne.
count Jason and Wayne.
Yeah, yeah. I wouldn't mind getting 2 general laborers in here too.
Right.
We used to have 3. At one time we had 4 part time. So
Are they the ones that mow the grass?
yeah,
Okay.
the maintenance foreman's Doug. That suggested range equates out to $24 to $33.
And that's the one that
That's the one that Laura was
suggested.
like-
Laura
forget what the email-
requested.
what-
She would drop the top and bottom by $5,000. Just for the fact that, there isn't necessarily enough supervision in her eyes, which, I mean, I kind of agree with. If
Yeah.
he has one or, but if we were to get to 3 people, 3 or 4 people, I don't know.
But does he have to train the new people when they're hired?
I would assume.
He trains them, yeah, on the, mower, snowplow, different things when, if they, yeah, he does.
I mean, even if we drop that though, he's at the, I mean, I don't even know if he makes that now.
He's at 2131 right now.
44,324. So, with that range being 45 to 63, I mean, to me,
Oh, that's if you drop the 5. Okay, got
right.
it.
What'd you add up? What was he at now? 43?
44, 324.
So he's
Just
still
quick
below
numbers.
the.
Right.
So if we did drop it, he'd still be happy because he'd get a raise.
He would. Now,
Man,
I don't,
that's some good money for, I mean, no offense.
Well, he's full-time, gets benefits too. And he's going to be retiring in 2 or 3 years, he keeps
5.
saying.
I think 5.
Yeah, 5 was 2 years ago.
Oh,
He keeps saying 5 every year, does he?
do you think 63 is high for the top? I mean, Wayne's been here a while, I think, hasn't he?
and I think that's why we were talking about those longevity bonuses and stuff to prevent those positions, not those positions in general, necking out so high.
Wayne's been here since 2013. Doug's 2016.
10 years. Almost.
So yeah, Wayne's been here since 2013.
While you're looking, Jason, how long?
Well,
Because he's another full-time.
off and on.
Yeah, no, he
Been
left
a-
and then came back.
I think
Jason.
he came back around 12 or
here
13.
January, says here January 2018.
Okay.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he only was part-time for a bit.
All right.
I mean,
So what do you on?
I don't know. I feel like 63,000 is high. Honestly,
On the high end, you mean?
So
if we were to ever get to that, I'm just spitballing. I don't know.
No, I mean, I don't argue that.
I don't.
We're not even
Sure.
we're not paying police supervisors that much, and they've got several under them. When you have that,
So we're doing 45 for the low end for maintenance foreman.
I mean, if we went along
And-
with Laura's
I know. Yeah.
suggestion,
And you want to do 60 instead of 63?
I mean, we can leave it at 63 and find out what the rest of council thinks too.
That's true.
I want to ensure that Laura.
Says we have the money for this.
Yeah.
Got it. I can read between the lines. I know I've been saying that right along.
these Laura's suggestions.
No, that's the
no.
insurance.
That's
suggestion.
from
that's-
yeah.
Oh,
That's Mike Hennecamp's.
Where'd it go? This is,
But this was her only suggestion based off of this, right?
Right.
Was this to lower that one by 5?
just that one. She just mentioned that, but the rest of them she seemed to be
Which would
okay
lead me
with,
to believe,
right?
I'm hoping she would have looked at the funds before
Right.
she made that suggestion. Just saying.
Because it's the
I
way
mean,
it's
to
worded,
me,
it sounds like everything else.
I
is okay.
would think that she looked at the other municipalities that she's working
That's
for
Yeah.
and probably looked at the numbers and was like,
and it kind of
Yeah.
comparing the responsibility to
right.
You know,
I don't necessarily think that she went down this list and went down this list and said, okay, if you put everybody in the middle, can we afford it? But I think that's what probably has to happen, before,
Sure.
yes, we can, approve this by council.
So say if we agree to all this right
Number-wise.
now, is there any way we could get those figures? I mean, should we have them before we present to council? Just to make sure we have it, or?
I would say so.
Okay,
I
I mean,
think so.
which that's something we can send to Laura.
yeah,
Right, but you also know, yeah, because council's going to ask us.
Yeah, that'll be.
Is it,
I guarantee that'll be the first question.
Yeah.
right, especially.
Yeah, numbers
Yes,
look great,
absolutely.
Yeah,
Can we
but can we
afford
afford
it?
it?
exactly,
Which
because I've been saying
that
it
should
right
be
along.
the first question too.
Right,
Yeah,
I would argue
Definitely.
that.
Now, granted, we want to pay everybody a fair wage. and
absolutely,
keep people here,
absolutely.
but
The water treatment plant operator will be Wayne. That equates out to $20 to $28 an hour. He's at $23.91 right now.
So what's that? Okay, one says year, one says per hour. Somebody help me out here. Multiply that by 28.
so what's the difference between the plant operator and the operator of record?
Operator of record be Steve. He
Okay.
just gets, he works like 20 hours a week, and he kind of puts his name. He deals with EPA and fills
Okay.
out all the forms. And
does he have a regular salary?
Looks like he's just paid
Hourly.
hourly,
paid hourly.
however many hours he works.
Yep.
That's
Gotcha.
what he's getting.
I think it's like 45.
up to 25 hours a week.
Okay,
Up to.
Yeah.
Okay.
So 25 times 45. I think he makes 45. Is that right?
What?
45 an hour? Isn't that what he gets paid?
No.
No, he's
He's at
$30.20.
Oh, okay. I knew it was up there.
All right, so the water treatment plant operator is Wayne.
Wayne.
Wayne, 49,732.
2391.
I used your formula. Thank you.
You're welcome. 49,732.
So he's, oh,
Right in the middle of it.
See, do you have to have an
Practically, yeah.
operator of record and a plant operator?
Steve's the one that kind of deals with EPA, and he's got a class 3 water, class 3 wastewater. I mean, yeah.
Oh, no. I'm just curious if you had to have a superintendent, an operator of record, and a plant operator. I'm just curious because it said NA. I didn't know if that meant like not applicable. Like, are they going to refill that position or? I mean, I just was curious
Maybe
if it was one that
Mike from the insurance company didn't research. I don't know why he put NA.
Yeah, that's why I thought maybe it said that. That's where the question came from. I wasn't sure. I don't know anything about water other than I drink it.
maybe it's because he's part-time.
I don't know.
I don't know.
All right.
once in a while.
So
Outside.
do you feel the water treatment plant operator salary range is good?
I think so.
I mean, Wayne's right in the middle of it right now.
I mean, there's still room to
Room, yeah,
bump him up, and
room almost 10 grand to go up. Okay.
Jason, the waterworks superintendent, and that equates out to $31 to $41 an hour, and he's at $31.84 right now.
Which he would be at the bottom of this
He
scale.
would be at the bottom of the scale there, yeah. And he's gonna, I think, retire. He talked about 7 years, maybe somewhere around there.
Okay.
So we'll leave the superintendent where it is.
All right. Secretary.
Secretary, that's a part-time, that'd be Janet. Up front, that equates out to $13 to $18. She's at $15 right now at the top of her. Where'd that go?
Okay. What's my formula
Yeah,
for
she's at the top. I mean,
part-time?
the range was 9 to 1550. So, and we're not hiring anybody else. I mean, we just give her up to 35 hours, and she's good with that. And
And you don't need anybody else doing billing?
no, she comes in at 9 to 5.
And
We
we're
come in
never-
at 8, and
So we're never behind billing or anything like that? One person's good to?
Yep.
Okay. So, I mean, even if she worked 40 hours, that's within this range?
Except for the benefits required for 40 hours.
Right.
right.
Yeah. So this range is good for secretary/billing clerk.
Yeah.
Okay.
Administrative assistant, clerk court is Christie. That suggested rate equates out to $20 to $27 an hour. She's at $26.36 right now, so so she's real close to the top.
Yep.
I don't think that surprises any of us. She's been here for so long. 54.
I mean, I'm just saying that she does quite a bit, but you know, I know there's mixed feelings with some people on that. So
I mean, yeah, I fully agree. I just know at some point we have to set a range. You know, if somebody's been here 30 years, this is what we can pay at the top.
I agree. I totally agree. Yeah, they just you just can't keep going up and up
Right.
and raising them and raising and raising them. I mean,
Right.
you know,
No, I mean bonuses and stuff like that. If you know, through your contribution throughout the year is different than your salary.
sure.
Right.
So that's a way for if someone tops out that you know they could get a little bit of extra money. But
$27.92 for an administrative assistant. That's pretty good because she's just an administrative assistant to the village administrator, not like all administrators. Or I say that position. Let me rephrase.
Okay, does that, well, that includes her clerk of court salary? I mean, it's a combined thing, right?
Right.
Oh yeah, I guess it is.
If, she's been here how many years?
She's been here a long time.
She started
18 or 20 years or something like that.
March of '98.
Wow.
She was the village administrator for a brief period, and then she stepped back down.
Right.
so almost 25 years.
So, I mean, she might even be thinking of leaving since whatever. I mean, if in the fact she does, then we still need that, keep that range for whoever would be hired to take her place. So the range.
Right, but I think
is-
they would come in at $20 an hour,
Okay,
which is what 42 would be.
Right.
okay. Okay, so this is good then.
I think.
Okay. I agree. Ben?
I concur.
Okay, I like his, okay. Kevin, you want to leave the, no, I'm kidding.
Yeah, whatever. I'm fine with mine. So, but I'm at right now. I'm at 61. 61.5 actually.
Yeah, okay.
So
But with the administrative assistant, though, doesn't she get paid to come in off hours as well? Does that still happen?
is that
She's
she gets
an
called?
hourly employee.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, she's either she's allowed to get comp time or flex time or however she wants it.
So
You know, there's times when she
would it benefit us to maybe make that a salary position to where that's part of the job?
I think
be
if
up
you-
to council. I don't know.
I think if you just controlled the hours a little bit, that's what I do. That's up to you guys.
Been
I
12
mean, you
hours,
can't
rather.
control the situation someone calls and needs you in. I mean,
All right.
Well,
I mean, I
no,
can't
but she could
control- We can't
leave.
control that across the street. I mean,
No.
things happen.
I'm with you, but you can send them home because you have other
You know,
stuff.
or what, they call me and I'm
Yeah,
we come in and
Yeah, but there's
you're on
three.
salary,
it's part of the job.
part of the
Yeah.
You know what
job.
I mean?
All right.
There's 3 people up
I
front, so
mean,
you
to me,
could send one
if
home
you made
and
the
you'd still
administrative
function with
assistant a
2.
salary position and the clerk of courts was an hourly position, because that's, it could just be part of the job as well. But
Yeah, I always thought those should be 2 separate positions like they were before, but that's not my thing.
The salary for the clerk of courts comes out of a different part of the budget, though,
Mhm.
correct?
Yeah. Well, you get that as
Comes out of the mayor's court. I mean,
Mayor's
it's
court,
what, that
right.
that fund or whatever.
Yeah.
that's kind of a part, I mean, that could be, most places fill that. Well, in fact, she's a part-time clerk of courts for 3 other entities on top of ours, and one is 3 times the size or 4 times the size of Enon. New Carlisle is
Yeah.
significantly more court stuff, and they function with her as a part-time clerk of court. And then like I said, she runs 2 other. So our clerk of court, yeah, it was never a full-time spot, but they consolidated those positions back in 12, I think.
Okay.
For what, I don't know what reason though. But again, but that's not, her position is that one, so.
But again, if we did that, we'd have to figure out a
Salary for
rate.
that
So, yeah.
position, and then pay her whatever for clerk of courts.
Yeah.
Separate. Have an hourly or salary position for, I don't know, how
That's
whatever you do.
how it was up until 12, and then they consolidated it and made it
It was
a
a
single pay.
salary paid position for the clerk of courts or hourly?
No, it was an hourly for the administrative assistant, and then an hourly rate. A clerk
both
of court,
hourly.
the clerk of court was a higher hourly rate. So when she did that for the, I think 20 hours a week or something, it was a higher rate than the administrative assistant rate of pay that she was being paid hourly, which was her full-time hourly rate, which was lower. I remember that because in 12, that's because I think it's in the 11s when she went to the village administrator. I think she stepped down right before 12 or somewhere around those. I don't know, quote on the time frame, but then that's because then they created that spot in 12 because that was when we got our interim chief. Steve Walker came in, and I remember they created that because I remember we had a resident came and wondered why it wasn't posted so other people could apply for it. I just remember that's how I know when it was.
Well,
I
I
remember
mean, if you
that
make it-
happening.
They decide
Now
to do
you
that
remember.
salary. I mean,
Yeah.
I know she makes good money, but she does a good job. In my opinion, she does a good job, and she's very efficient. And you know, I have no problems with her work getting done, and so
Okay. Jeremy's deep in thought.
Well,
He's doing math.
I'm just trying to figure out when we go to council. So we probably need to talk to Laura. One of us can send her an email and CC the other 2. You know, if we took this sheet right here and put everybody in the middle, you know, every position, split it right down the middle of the range, can we afford that? Because we're never going to have, I mean, chances are you're never going to have everybody at the high side.
Right, unless they decide to stick around for a long time,
Right.
which doesn't usually happen.
So first, I mean, I think that we've got to get that from Laura, make sure that this is feasible, these salary ranges. And then the other thing we need to talk to council about is, which we've talked before, but we've never really gotten to the point where we've decided the stipends, bonuses for different kinds of trainings, yearly appraisals if we're doing bonuses for your contribution during the year. You know, our appraisals work, you know, if you set them 1, 3, 5, if you get a 5, there's a percentage of your salary you can get as a bonus. If you get a 3, there's a percentage that you get under 3. 3 is your meeting
expectations.
Right, meeting expectations. 5,
Not
you're
going up-
exceeding.
Okay, 5 years.
1, you don't get anything, and you
Nothing,
get put
no
on
change.
a performance plan. You know,
That's what we have, the PIP. So
Yeah.
wasn't that in our policy manual? Didn't it get passed at council, or has that not been approved yet?
oh, maybe I'm mistaken.
It hasn't been approved
Well,
yet.
No,
the whole policy and compensation policy, there's some wording in the policy that we have to change yet, you know, but it's
Yeah, because the policy,
real close. I just gotta change it and get it to him. I wanna wait till the mayor gets back and we gotta get that done.
yeah, the policy and compensation manual already had the percentages of
Okay.
appraisal.
Yeah.
So
know that.
I know we were trying to move everybody to January. That way everyone's doing it at the same time. We don't miss, which first year we're going to miss somebody for sure, probably. You know, especially on your side, 'cause you have people starting in April,
Yeah.
and you know they may. Ours, you have to be in 3 months before you can get it. You have to be in by, if we stopped it at December 31st, they would have to be in by September 1st, or they wouldn't get
Annual.
they would get an appraisal, but it wouldn't be, they couldn't get a bonus from it.
Yeah, so we have a 6 month, we have the 6 month, the whole village is a 6 month probationary evaluation for the probationary. So, I mean, technically they're getting an appraisal or evaluation within 6 months regardless. But I know that I read that in that compensation because I saw it and I thought it looked all right. I mean,
I know this is a silly question, but is there a difference between a stipend and a bonus other than how you spell the word?
that's a good question. I always ask that. But our former policy said that you would get stipend pay if you did the position that was advanced of you with approval of council, but I've seen it, but it's never, like I didn't
They're
get
the
it.
same, but I
But
don't
I
know if
know
there's-
Chief Wilcox, I know Christie and Chief Wilcox both got stipends for doing positions. They're the only two
Right.
employees I've ever known that happened to, and they were pretty significant pay. I mean, it's
So a stipend to me would be if you're performing another duty that doesn't fall under your purview.
Okay, that makes sense.
So that would kind of be, well, if the clerk of courts and the administrative assistant wasn't combined, Christie would be getting a stipend for clerk of courts, is how
Okay.
I would say.
that's what they did.
Well, at the township, so as all the officers over there, obviously we can work hourly, but we also get an officer stipend to perform work off the clock. So like to answer the phone by anybody or come in and do something. So we get stipends for off the clock work.
Yeah, a bonus is doing something overly and above, and they give you a bonus. Yeah, I think that's what they did call them stipends because I know they were both filling the village
Yeah.
administrator spot, and they
I
were
think it's just
yeah.
what vocabulary you choose
Right.
for your paperwork.
Right.
Well, I was thinking that's probably what it was, but okay, I think I'm clear. Okay, so we were happy with the village administrator, what we see here. So you want me to email Laura, me or Kevin? We can get together
Do
and,
we have a zoning inspector?
For me. That's fine. If we get together and, you know, if you have any questions, I can email her if you guys want to, because I'm sure you may go home tonight and think of something that you may want her to
Right.
clarify.
look up, clarify, whatever. But I mean, I can do it as long as you give me your questions and then I can do it.
Okay, basically, I think what Jeremy just said was, if everyone went to the center, the middle, can we afford that at this point in time? Not that everybody is there. Is that pretty much, did I summarize it? Okay.
I mean, to me, that would be worst case scenario. It's not worst case scenario for the village, but worst case scenario in a salary perspective
For the budget.
against our budget.
Against our budget, right, okay.
I know that our officers, I know that the pay out there, I know it can because ours were always figured at that anyway. So I know the 25 was, and you can double check, please, but I know that that was well within.
And see, like the zoning inspector with Kevin doing it, I mean, to me, it would be an additional duty because we never had that as a duty of the village administrator.
Right, didn't we have a
Yeah,
separate?
Jason's
We always
dad
had-
or something. What?
We always had
Jason's
some,
dad?
yeah, he
Yeah,
just
Kent
retired.
did,
Yeah.
right, yeah.
He was a
did.
zoning-
You're right,
he was a
I'd forgotten
zoning
about
guy.
that.
Right.
Yeah, you're right.
Then they combined it at some point.
And
after-
see, I don't know that we really combined it. We just never hired anybody
And you got
as
stuck
the
with-
zoning inspector, and the administrator was like, "Oh, I guess this is on me."
Yeah.
No big deal.
Thanks,
I
Kevin.
mean, no big deal. Done it before. I knew it again.
Right.
No big-
Should he be getting a stipend for that?
Well, I
I
think
mean,
that's something that needs to
that
be
we need to-
discussed. If that's
think, yeah.
if that's what we're willing to pay a zoning inspector, and
Where's
that
the zoning?
Where's this?
I don't think that's on
which
his list of
page are you
duties.
seeing a zoning
Myself.
inspector on?
Under the
Oh yeah, Ken did that.
second
Do we
page
put out
of
for
the
one?
wage
See what
salaries, the old what council passed. What
Do you
you
want to
Oh,
discuss
okay, you can turn the
FTO
page,
pay,
duh.
or-
Honestly,
Okay.
that wouldn't be a bad idea to have a
I got no problem giving them $1 an hour extra.
Non
Do you
what?
feel that's fair?
I
What?
having somebody that of having a separate zoning inspector versus the,
A civilian rather than an already paid employee? Is that what you're saying?
well, yeah, because, I mean, that's probably the most controversial position that I hear about in my work is, and I'm sure you can agree, they are so picky. They're picking on me and they don't do that. And I mean, I get that's a rough spot. That's a rough one, but I hear more negative. That's the only negative feedback I hear, I think, is that
Yeah, it's kind of a
particular
negative
offense.
It is.
Yeah.
We know somebody.
Well, sure.
Yeah, but no, you know what I mean?
It
Thankless.
is.
Right.
You know, I
Yeah.
just was talking to somebody today that I gave him a week notice. I went out. He said, come out here. Let's talk. I went out and talked.
Let me
And-
take you to 13 other properties I've already
Well,
seen.
that's exactly what happens, and I tell them you need to contact the.
They
Sorry,
say that,
man,
I
I haven't
got
seen.
nothing
I haven't
there.
got by
I
those
said,
yet.
I'm dealing with your property. Let's talk about your property, and then I'll, you can give me addresses. I'll go
Right.
look at it. But right now we're talking about you. But yeah, and it's a
Oh.
thankless position. You're, like you say, you're. I've had them say, "Oh, you're picking on me. You're discriminating." Well, okay,
Right.
yeah, okay. Here, I can show you the letters that I've sent out.
No, they call the police, and I'm like, what do you mean? I just say, you know what? Everybody do it. I'm like, give me the
But-
list. I'll
Right.
just drive
It's-
and knock on the door.
Be a village
I don't
and
know.
take care of your own stuff.
Wow, I'm like, you're right. Thanks for pointing that out. By the way, you need to fix that still too. What do you want me to do? I want to call and talk to the other person. There, good idea. You called me. I didn't call you.
All right.
I have to look them up. There's a lot of ordinances.
Yeah, I'm sure there are, and I'm sure Kent probably didn't know them all, and Kevin might not even know them all.
No, you won't.
But
I
you
mean,
have
it's-
to look them up. I
Right.
mean, you'd have to know where to look, though.
You gotta.
There has to be some training involved as to know what the job is and how to.
I just read the code and say that's in
Well,
violation.
yeah, but you have to know where to look in the code for
No,
specific
I
things.
totally agree.
You carry a code book around.
Well,
with
and
you?
Well,
that's another thing that
do.
I've gotten comments about.
Yeah.
Yes.
Why am I getting a letter for this when you don't take care of these? You
Yeah.
know,
Right.
you're looking at one thing instead of your book that's this big, which I don't know how you can do it all. Not myself.
When you're talking about the citizens, you're griping about me here, and so next three
Right.
doors down has got
Has
five
this
different.
or this or this.
So it's a matter of just can't we all just get along?
Yeah.
Well, they may not know that.
I think it's.
That
a
it's
letter was
already
sent
been
to
addressed.
the,
Right.
They don't
5 doors
know.
down.
Right.
Absolutely.
You know,
Right.
I think we
'cause-
do good to just blatant violations versus, hey, that's against our ordinance. We can say something. I
Right.
think it's more the blatant ones, and that's.
small town, you gotta.
Yeah.
know, even-
Pick and choose.
Seriously, at times
Yeah,
you do.
yeah.
You know?
Absolutely.
You know, I put stuff on the watch list. If it goes for 1 or 2 weeks, then if
Right.
it's still there, then I address.
Right.
Thinking, especially camping season, campers. In the
Right.
driveway and stuff. So, maybe people are getting ready to
Right, getting ready to
clean in.
leave.
They're getting ready to leave for this next
Right,
weekend.
when you drove by.
Yeah.
So you saw it and like,
So
oh,
a lot of the
shit, now I
campers,
gotta write it up.
a lot of the campers are, I kind of watch for at least 48 hours.
Right,
But if it's close to the weekend, I kind of watch.
right.
It's tough.
Yeah.
But
I never understood the camper thing. I mean, I get it like 20, 30 years ago, but now I can see why you don't want them on the street. But what's so wrong with the way they're designing homes now with them in the front driveway? I know that's
Well,
a topic for
what
a
makes
different
people
one.
mad in the village is in the township, they can park them in the front yard.
Yeah, I can see not parking one in your front
Across
yard forever, but
Eden
why not?
Xenia,
Why
they
not
can
in your
look
driveway?
across the street, and
Yeah.
one can be sitting.
that's true. I've had
Right.
I've had somebody call me about that. Why ain't you saying something? Well, it's not in the village. Sorry.
No, I mean there
Don't
are
like
homes.
jurisdiction.
There are homes with like 3 lanes of poured concrete driveway in the frontage of their home, and
Right.
and I don't see why you can't park a motor home there. Why would you have to spend several thousand more dollars to put a concrete pad beside your house? Because I'm just saying, and again, that's just my personal
Yeah, that's
aspect.
what it is.
I get it when you had single car
There's a lot
driveways.
of there's
maybe
still
not
a
in the
lot
yard.
of, and always will be a lot of gray areas in zoning codes.
Right.
Because you read it one way, I
Right.
read it another.
Maybe
I
that's
try to
something-
interpret it.
Maybe council can
You know,
look at it. sometime.
Well, that ain't what it says. There's
Kevin-
an if or a shall or a but or
Do you get paid per mile going around, driving around, looking at all these
No.
things?
Car.
Yeah.
I know, village car, I know.
No,
Small
I-
town, it's not like a big city where you,
Right.
in my opinion, you have to have a separate zoning department with
Right.
their own employees that goes out and checks and stuff. And
You can park them in the
We
driveway.
have a friend that was the zoning inspector in
You
Riverside.
can't park them in your yard.
I mean-
you can park them in a driveway.
I wouldn't want to.
He was getting death threats.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't want to. Yeah,
Craigslist style.
Yeah.
I wouldn't
That's
want to do that
awesome.
in a big city. I had a. Well,
Who-
I'll
who
tell
was
you
that?
after the meeting, but it wasn't here. It was up in Macomb.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah,
No way, man.
yeah. It was.
still call my friend? Oh, no, I'm kidding.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
All right, so
So what about a pontoon boat next to the,
yeah, needs to make it to the lake.
make it to the lake? Kidding. I'm teasing.
But I got it behind the front edge of the garage.
Yeah, Frank. You can't come past the front of the.
I don't see a problem with those either.
I don't either. I'm just
Sure, yours
teasing him.
All right. So if you, I mean, I got that one question. If you guys think of any other questions, let
mean,
shoot them to me or text
Okay.
them or whatever, and then I can put them in an email to Laura. I mean, Mike, if you have any questions for her too as well. I
So
mean,
we have a meeting.
I
Our next
would.
meeting's Tuesday.
Yeah.
So if we can go ahead and send the salaries and just have her put it,
as they're updated here,
Yep.
I'll make a new list.
and then just have her
her-
split and
Okay.
see what that would do to our budget. And
right
then
down
we
the
can-
middle. Okay.
Everyone send Kevin if we think of anything to add. And then, yeah, I think we need to talk to council about the whole stipend thing for the FTOs.
What do you feel is fair for that?
On $1 an hour, $1 an hour. It's like, it's.
Yeah.
I think it encourages them, but I also think that our policy manual covers it a little bit with the certain I know that's one of the ones in my certifications that if you hold that and you do it, then that qualifies you for that percentage. So I don't feel like we need an hourly bonus as long as I'm paying attention to the percentage wise, because I'm an FTO. So are you going to cut me a check every time I train somebody? I would be getting additional pay, but it falls. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, but you're the chief. You should be training people. That's your job.
well, not all chiefs are FTOs, though. That's the crazy part. Yeah, that I've been an FTO for a long time.
You and Miranda?
Miranda is an FTO, and I am an FTO, and she's an SRO, and I'm an SRO.
Right.
Not all chiefs are SROs. That's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Like, so some certifications just fall with it. But I think that if I recognize that in her evaluations and stuff, and she's compensated for it that way, there's no reason to compensate the other
Right.
way, so to speak.
Yep.
And I think that our compensation policy does cover that.
Okay,
Okay.
so I think we're good. Anything else, gentlemen?
I'll get this retyped up, and like I say, if you have any questions, give them to me before.
End of the
You
week.
already
She's
raised it.
coming in Friday too, so I mean, even if
Okay.
she can bring information with her Friday, she'll be here at 10 o'clock on Friday if you know,
You already raised the general labor to 15.
to 15,
What time is she coming in Friday?
10 o'clock.
10 a.m.
So if you guys, want to get with her in person and have a chat, she'll be more than happy to.
Bless you.
So, but if you don't, give me questions, and that way, even if she comes in, she can even have the answers on Friday.
All right.
So,
Okay.
Okay,
I'll move to adjourn.
I'll second.
okay, so moved. Everybody in agreement? Say goodbye.
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 6:51.
Happy birthday, Ariana.
51.